this being the first night, the launch, the very first time we do this, I thought it might be appropriate to share with you one of my favorite verses. And I'll admit, it's an extremely popular verse. In fact, it's so popular that I think it's almost become forgotten.
If you take your glasses off, it's all the same.
But it's such a powerful verse. It's been called the gospel in a nutshell, a love letter written in blood. In fact, Martin Luther called it the gospel in miniature, or the miniature gospel. And the interesting thing is, there's only 25 English words in this entire verse, and yet no other verse in all of the scriptures has been as blessed in the salvation of so many souls. It's been a beacon of hope to both the sinner and the saint. And I think that if ever there was a verse that Satan would love to blot out of the Bible, if ever there was a verse that makes all of hell tremble and wince, it is this verse. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. John 3:16. And what I love about that verse is it says it so clear, its intent. There's no addendums, there's no little asterisks with like fine print at the bottom, there's no loopholes, no hidden clauses. What does it say? It said, God loves you and he wants to have a relationship with you. And all you have to do is believe. But there's something else cool about this verse, is that the story doesn't stop there. In fact, it keeps going to the next verse, John 3:17. And while not as popular as its predecessor, it holds a great amount of weight and meaning to you and I. It says, for God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. And I want to look at that word condemned. It comes from the Greek word krino. But before we get there, if you would jump just one chapter forward with me into John chapter 4. And we see Jesus. He's gone into Samaria. And while he's there, the disciples are off trying to find food and whatnot, right? And so while he's waiting, it says that he heads over to Jacob's well. And if you start in verse 6, you'll see that it's about the 6th hour, which would have been about noon, the hottest part of the day, when a lone woman comes to the well. Now, the two things right there presented to us have massive meaning. You see, in that culture at that time, women didn't go get water alone. Usually they went in groups, and they went either early in the morning or late in the evening when it was much, much cooler. But what does it tell us here? That a woman comes by herself at the hottest part of the day. Right? And Jesus asks her for a drink. And starting in verse 9, look at what she says. Then the woman of Samaria said to him, how is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan woman? For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans. So, Scripture also lets us know right here that there's something else going on. So we have a woman who already would have been of lower social status than men of that time. She obviously is trying to be alone, so she could be an outcast, a lone wolf, a pariah, something like that. And then Scripture lets us know that she's a Samaritan. And it also doesn't hold anything back. It says that Jews wanted nothing to do with these people at all. So we got 3 strikes right there. She's a woman, an outcast, and a Samaritan. And I find it hard to believe, at least when I'm reading this, that she's looking him in the face right then and there. I don't think she was. She's probably focusing on the well, keeping her eyes averted, just kind of saying this out the side. Right? And so then Jesus, what does he say? He says, if you knew the gift of God and who was speaking to you, you would ask him for a drink and he would have given you living water. Right? And so she responds, I love this part. She says, sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where then do you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well and drank from it himself, as well as his sons and his livestock? And see, if you don't just read through that like you're reading the Bible, if you actually read it conversationally, like we would today, it kind of sounds like a super snarky answer, doesn't it? And in fact, this type of exchange between her and Jesus is what we keep seeing, where Jesus keeps trying to hint, keeps trying to get her attention, get her to look at him, and she responds with nothing less than sarcasm and bite. And so finally, what does Jesus do? He goes, go get your husband. And she responds so bluntly. I'm pretty sure in her mind she was saying, if I am just passive aggressive enough, I can rid myself of this man. What does she say? I don't have a husband. Now I want you to look carefully at how Jesus responds. He says, you have well said, I have no husband. For you have had 5 husbands, and the one whom you have now is not your husband. In that you spoke truly. Now maybe you have it in your head, and maybe you've heard it said before that Jesus was being a little harsh with her, was giving her some tough love, that, he's put in her place for being snarky. But that's not how Jesus has ever treated the hurting and the broken. What does John 3:17 say? He did not come to condemn. So before we start jumping to assumptions about this apparently immoral woman, you need to understand the world that she was living in. You go back to the ancient Near East cultures, and women had really no say in their marriage. She couldn't decide to leave. She couldn't initiate a divorce. She couldn't choose who she was going to marry next. And if you go deeper into Hebrew culture with the Jews, it was not a common thing. It was very rare that a woman had any kind of legal agency in her marriage. And then if you went even deeper into the Samaritan culture, which was much, much more strict, it was virtually impossible. And so you see this woman, if she had 5 husbands, it almost certainly wasn't because she was reckless. It's because she was vulnerable. What happened to her wasn't because of choices that she made, but situations thrust upon her. It could have been because she was widowed. She could have been abandoned, traded, left to whatever the whims of her family law was at the time. It's because she was vulnerable. And so this woman with 5 husbands, this wasn't a scandalous woman. This was a disregarded woman. And then you look at what Jesus says. He said, you have well said. And you actually look at the translation that you go back to the Greek, actually what it more closely translates to, and depends on whether you were writing or speaking. If you were writing, it meant beautifully written. But in this case, it meant truthfully said. We might say today, boy, ain't that the truth. Or I couldn't have said it better myself, or yeah, I know. So you take this in context and look at what's really happening. Look at what Jesus is saying to her. He's saying, daughter, I know. I know. I know you don't have a husband. And I know the truth behind the 5 that you have had. I know that one just married you out of family obligation. I know the other one abused you, and this other one over here just called you worthless and good for nothing the whole time. And the man you're with now, he doesn't even think enough of you to marry you. You're nothing more than a body to warm his bed. Daughter, I know. And I know the truth behind the 5 that you have had. And now you can see the situation begin to change. You can see her start to change. Because look at what she says. She says in verse 19, Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, and you Jews say that it is in Jerusalem is the place where one ought to worship. Let me bring this to reality, to modern language for you. You can see that the snarkiness is gone. The sarcasm is gone. It's almost like if she's just snapped. She's very blunt now. She could have tears welling up in her eyes. And what does she say? She goes, okay, so apparently you know things, Mr. Big Shot. So you tell me this. My people said that God's over there on that mountain. You all say that he's over there in that temple, but I have never seen God. Not here, not there, not in the men that were supposed to lead me to him. No. All I've seen is pain and abandonment and hurt, not God. So you tell me, where is this God? Mr. Big Shot. So you tell me this. And I don't know where you're at. I know there's a lot of people that feel the exact same way. That all the places you were told to look up to, parents, teachers, authority figures, pastors, other religious leaders, other relationships. And all of it has started to seem like the biggest pile of crap ever. And all you're left with is just hurt and brokenness and lies. And you're starting to question, what is the point of all this anyways? Parents, teachers. And so here's this woman. And she says this to Jesus. And then look at what Jesus does. You read through this, and Jesus begins to give her a revelation of the kingdom of heaven. That place where love is found, where hope is anchored, and peace is overflowing in abundance. And I'm sure by now she's got tears streaming down her face, because in essence, if you read what she says is, man, I know there's a king of that kingdom, and if only that king were here, he could show me the way. And to all of this, what does Jesus say in verse 29? He says, I who speak to you am he. And probably for the first time in this entire exchange of dialogue, she looks at him. Jesus, the very embodiment of the love of God, locks eyes with this woman, and everything changes. You want to know how we know? Go to verse 32. And what does it say? I'm around here somewhere. Nope, sorry. Go to 28. Then the woman left her water pot, went her way into the city, and said to the men, come, see a man. Did you catch what just happened? Did you catch the change? The water that she came for, she left it. Didn't matter anymore. She went into the city, the place that she was trying to avoid being seen. It didn't matter anymore. And she went to the men, the ones that had hurt her, the ones that had abused her, the ones that had left her with scars, and she proclaimed the gospel to them. We're going to jump forward in John again, this time to John chapter 8. I'm sure it's a story that many of us are familiar with, if not everyone here. And at the start of it, Jesus is preaching and teaching in the temple. When the scribes and the Pharisees, they bring this woman before him. And in verse 3, they say, teacher, this woman was caught in adultery in the very act. Now your translation, some translations might say taken, but they both derive from the same Greek word, which actually meant to possess, to seize aggressively, violently. So I want you to picture this scene. Here's Jesus. He's sharing. I'm sure the atmosphere there is absolutely electric as everyone just hangs on every single word he's saying. And then suddenly, there's a commotion. The religious leaders, they come, they bring this woman in, or actually probably more like dragging her in. And they throw her right at his feet. She didn't have time to get dressed. Remember, they ripped her violently when they caught her in the act. Didn't have time to get dressed. She may have, maybe, if she was quick enough, had just enough time to grab whatever blanket or sheet was on the bed that she was in before they drug her down the street, past everyone, and threw her at the feet of Jesus right there in the dirt. And now they're all shouting what? The law says kill her. And what does Jesus do? He squats down and starts doodling in the sand, man. Acting like he doesn't even hear them. So they keep pressing him for an answer. And finally he stands up. And in verse 7, he gives one of the most famous bits of dialogue. We all know it, right? He says what? Let him that is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her. What does Jesus do? And as they all start to leave, what does he do? He goes right back down and starts doodling in the sand again. And maybe you're one of those people, I know a lot of people have asked, what was he writing in the sand? Scripture doesn't tell us. I know some people say that he was writing down scriptures. I know some people, and I've heard it said a lot, that he was writing out their sins. I don't know, I wasn't there. But that doesn't make sense to me with the way that the story goes. If you follow the story, it doesn't quite make sense. Because if he's writing down all their sins of everyone around, why, when they're all leaving, would he squat back down and start writing again? What is the purpose, once the point's been made, of continuing? And also, you notice there's no reaction in there. Jesus always got a lot of reactions. There's no reaction. You don't hear anyone gasp. You don't hear anyone protest. You don't see a commotion. We don't even know what he wrote. You would think the author that wrote detail would see it. So it tells me that it wasn't written big. It wasn't supposed to be public. That tells me it probably most likely was not meant for all the crowd around. So if it wasn't meant for them, was there someone else there? Was there someone else that was looking right down in the dirt that he was writing in? Put yourself in her shoes. She got caught right in the middle of her infidelity. That tells me it probably most likely was not meant for all the crowd around. So if it wasn't meant for them, very good catch. Was there someone else there? Was there someone else that was looking right? She knows the law. She knows what's going to happen. She's probably curled herself up, trying to cover her head in some useless attempt to block the onslaught that's about to come. Besides all the tears that are probably in her eyes squeezed tightly shut so she doesn't have to see that rock that's surely coming straight at her skull. She knows what's going to happen. She's trembling. You imagine the thoughts going through her head? My God, what did I do? Why did I do this? I'm never going to see my husband again. I'm never going to see my kids again. I'm never going to see my family, my friends. What did I do? It's over. What did I do? And her mind and her heart is probably pounding and racing so loud she doesn't hear the famous exchange of dialogue that Jesus gives in her defense. My God, what did I do? Her eyes squeezed shut. She doesn't probably see what's written right there, right in front of her. She doesn't hear everyone leave. But after a while, probably something in her goes, I haven't been hit yet. Why is this taking so long? Her ears probably pick up something in front of her happening, cracks open her eyes, and she sees not a crowd, but a single set of feet. She doesn't hear everyone leave. She doesn't know what to think. But after a while, and then she hears the most loving voice the world has ever known. Say what? Daughter, where are your accusers? Does no one condemn you? She probably very meekly said the next line. No. Still not looking up. Still pretty sure that this one man left is about to drop a rock straight on her. And then what does Jesus say? Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. That very last part, go and sin no more. Sin no more. We kind of skip over it. And you can say it so just normally, casually. A lot of us read over it, but it holds so much depth for us. Because if you say it just passively, hey, don't sin anymore, all it does is point out the obvious. But you go back to the Greek, and what it meant there when it said, go, sin no more. It meant do not continue down a path. It carried with it the connotation of being on a road, on a journey. And so look at what Jesus is actually saying to this woman. You're sitting there in this moment. She's down. She's probably still not looking up. And she said, she doesn't know what's going to happen. And what does he say? I don't condemn you. Go. She's backing up. She's starting to leave. And all of a sudden she hears, oh, and hey, by the way, I knew this was too good to be true. Look at what Jesus is actually saying to this woman. She goes, you're sitting there in this moment. Please don't continue down that path. Probably still not looking up. I love you so much more than this. I saw you at the moment of your conception. I've had plans for you since before the foundation of time and space. They're good plans. They're not this. So please, please don't keep going down this path. I don't condemn you. I love you. And maybe it's at that moment that she looks up. Maybe she sees what's written in the sand. Maybe it was for her. Maybe she finally looks up and sees the one that saved her, and everything changes. I want us to jump back in the Bible just a little bit. Matthew chapter 14. And maybe it's at that moment. And starting in verse 22, Jesus tells his disciples to get in the boat and go on across the sea without him. And so they do this. And then in verse 24, we find out a big storm comes up, and now the ship's getting tossed every which way. And here comes Jesus walking on the water. Now, I don't know whether it was because the wind and the rain were so thick and the waves so tall that they just couldn't recognize him, or if they couldn't believe their eyes But they absolutely freak and they shout what? It's a ghost! And Jesus immediately corrects them. What does he say? He says, be of good cheer, for it is I, do not be afraid. And I love this next exchange of dialogue, right? Because Jesus says what? Don't worry about it. It's me, Jesus. And the next thing out of anyone's mouth is Peter. If it's you, oh, Peter. And Jesus immediately corrects them. This is why I am so glad that I am not the Messiah, and I'm pretty sure my family is too. Do not be afraid. Right? Because at least with him, there's no such thing as a stupid question. But notice Jesus doesn't criticize him. Don't worry about it. It's me, Jesus. Peter says, Lord, if it's you, command me to walk out into the water with you. And Jesus doesn't go, well, Peter, I would have, but you didn't believe it was me the first time. How are you going to walk on water, dummy? Jesus doesn't do that. What does he do? What does he say? He gives one word to Peter. It was also one word to the other 11 in the boat. It's the same word that he gives to every single person today. It doesn't matter your disbelief. It doesn't matter your history. It doesn't matter how much or little faith you have. It is one word. What is it? Come. And we see Peter. He steps out of the boat. He begins to walk on the water. And then if you look in verse 30, it says what? But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately, Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him. Anyone pick up on the second word there in verse 31? It's vitally important. And then if you look, immediately. It says what? It's so powerful. Because here's the thing. Notice it doesn't say really, really quick. It doesn't say fast. It doesn't even say with superhuman speed. What does it say? Immediately, Jesus what? Reached out his hand and caught him. It's letting us know something. That Jesus was right there in front of Peter already within arm's distance. And all it took was what? Lord, save me. This is the gospel. This is what Jesus said he came to preach. In Mark 1:15, he said, the time has come, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. He doesn't say the kingdom of heaven is just around the corner. He doesn't even say it's 5, 4, 3, 2, not even one step away. What does he say? It's at hand. It's so close you can reach out and grab it. This is what he was showing to Peter. This was the revelation that he was giving to the woman at the well. This is what he did for the woman caught in the act. It's what he's doing to every single person every day. He's standing right in front of you. But the thing is, the gospel is not about living some idealistic life. It's not about having the perfect relationships or the perfect marriage or battling some culture that we disagree with to make our already good lives more comfortable. It's not a program. It's not a formula. It's not something that we pour into our already decent lives to make it better. It's realizing that you've come to the end of yourself. It's realizing that you're too weak to go any further. It's realizing that you're terrified beyond all belief within yourself and only able to scream one last thing. What is that? Lord, save me. And so most of us know the rest of the story, how it plays out, right? Jesus picks him up, and then what does he say? Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt? Now, I've heard that preached in a very angry way. Almost as if Jesus was saying, God, Peter, I mean, you were doing okay, but what happened, man? You messed up, you doubter. Why'd you doubt? But that's not my Jesus. That's not the Jesus that we read about in John 3:17. That's not the Jesus that we saw with the woman at the well. It's not the Jesus that we saw with the woman caught in the act. Almost as Jesus was saying. It was a few years ago, I was on vacation with my family. We went to this place called Fritz's Adventure. Now, the best way I can describe this magical place is if you found a very active, hyper-imaginative 5-year-old little boy and told him he had an unlimited budget to build his dream playground. That's Fritz's Adventure. all right? It's got like parkour vert ramps and underground tunnels, laser mazes, shipping containers stacked up with cargo nets and hidden passageways. It's got everything. It's phenomenal. And so we walk into this place, and my daughter is 6 years old at the time, and she sees the crown jewel of this area. It's called the Sky Trail. It's a 3+ story ropes course. And she goes, Daddy, I want to do that. Can I do that, Daddy? Maybe that's been you, right? You read the stories in here. You've heard testimonies from other people. You see things happening, and you're just like Peter. You see Jesus walking over, you go, I want to do that too. Can I do that? What's Jesus say? Come. I want to do that. And so we head over there to the Sky Trail, and as we get underneath it, and we're getting hooked up in the harnesses and the safety lanyards, my daughter's eyes are getting really big. She's getting really quiet. You see things happening. Reality of how big this is now setting in. And now as we go up the stairs, my daughter, who had just sprinted across the whole building, is now going up the stairs 1/2 step at a time, clutching her safety lanyard in one hand and has a death grip on the rail of the stairs with the other hand. And we finally get to the first level. It's just about 15, 20 feet off the floor. And we get there, and there's a couple different paths you can take, but she looks like a deer in headlights. So I go, hey, why don't we go this way, baby girl? She nods. And then this first obstacle, it's a rope bridge. You know, like the kind you see in the jungle movies. It's got the planks and the 2 cords going through it. The cargo net on the side that's like a safety net. You can grab it and everything like that. It can't sway, can't rotate, rocks a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of uneasiness. But she's going across, and every time her pulley makes the little sliding sound, she jolts. And we finally make it through that one. And we get to the next obstacle, and this one's just a little bit harder, but we only get about 1/3 of a way onto it before she goes, Daddy, I'm done. I want to go back. I want to go back. Oh, okay. That's fine, baby girl. So we come down, we get down the stairs, we get unhooked, and she starts to cry. I go, baby girl, what's the matter? She goes, I'm sorry, Dad. I wanted to do it. I got scared. I'm so sorry. I couldn't stay. Before she goes, Daddy, I'm done. I want to go back. I want to go back. Maybe you've been there. You stepped out in faith, but then nothing turned out like you thought it was going to be. And you start yelling at God, going, God, I tried. I thought but I just can't. I can't do this, God. I'm done. And now you think you failed. Now you think you let him down. I grabbed her and I said, baby girl, you're 6 years old. Look at all the adults that didn't even try. Look at what you did. That's what Jesus was saying to Peter. He wasn't condemning him. He was saying, Peter, look at what you did with a little faith. There's 11 other people in the boat that didn't do it. Look at what you did with a little faith. You're 6 years old. And then he said what? Look at all the adults that didn't even try. Peter, what were you afraid of? What caused you to take your eyes off of me? Because if we can figure that out, Peter, oh, you have no idea what you're capable of. I do. I know the prisons you're going to walk out of. I know the healings you're going to see. I know the messages you're going to preach. I know the churches you're going to build. Oh, you just wait, Peter. Your little faith is going to explode. The day goes on. The kids play hard. They're not getting tired. I'm getting tired. So we say we're going to go home. And my daughter, she goes, but Dad, can I try the Sky Trail just one more time? Can I, Daddy? See, you may think that you messed up, that you quit. But here's the beautiful thing. Isaiah 43 says, fear not, for I have redeemed you. Your father says, yeah, it's okay. We can do this again. So I take her, we go, and as we're getting hooked up again this time, I'm trying to be the good dad. I look at her, and I say, are you sure you want to do this? You don't have to do this for me. And she goes, no, I have to. And then with a look of determination that can conquer worlds over, she says, I need to beat my fear. So in my head, I'm looking up here. She's finishing getting hooked up, and I'm looking at level 1, and I'm trying to be the good dad and go, okay, if we go this way and I can help her this way, oh my God, what is she doing? She's sprinting up the stairs past level 1. Now I'm trying to keep up with her. And she goes up the stairs past level 2. And we get all the way up to level 3. And now we're like 45 to 50 feet off the deck. And here's the thing. It doesn't just get taller. The higher the levels, the harder the obstacles get. She's already got a plan, man. She goes, Dad, I want to go that way. Okay. But Dad, yeah. Can you go first? Maybe hold my hand? You bet, baby girl. And so we start on this first obstacle. It's very similar to that rope bridge, except this time it's not boards. It's like little lily pads with a single cord through each side. So now, not only do they bounce a little bit, they can sway and they can flip. And there's no more cargo net. There's just 2 rope handles she can barely reach. I think she got her fingers on them. And so we're starting to go through, and I'm trying to talk her through it. I'm trying to say, baby girl Aurelia, don't look down. Just keep your eyes on the platform. Keep your eyes on where you want to finish. Just keep going. We finally make it off of that one, and we start on the next obstacle. And this time it's a tightrope with just 1 rope above. Again, she can barely reach it. And she's going across, and every time, again, that pulley makes noise. I can see her jerk just a little bit, and I keep encouraging her. I keep saying, baby girl, you're doing great. Just 1 foot in front of the other. You got this. Just keep your eyes on me. Keep your eyes on where you want to finish. And we get to the third, the hardest obstacle up there. And I would like to say it's a balance beam. It's not. It was more like a metal tube with a cord running through it so the tube could spin. And there's nothing else to grab onto except your own safety lanyard. And so we start going through it, and we get about halfway, and I see her start to slip, and she's hanging on. And I say, you okay, baby girl? Do you want to turn around? She goes, no, Dad. This is so scary. It's so exciting. I said, baby girl, that's what following Jesus is like. That's why we call it the walk of faith. It's so scary, yet so exciting. We're still walking. She goes, yeah, but Jesus is with us, right? I said, yeah, you bet, baby girl. And just like you're keeping your eyes on the next platform, you keep your eyes on him. So we finally make it across. We're standing on the platform. Everything is downhill from now. We can make our way back. But we're catching our breath. We're getting our nerves. And so I look at her and I say, hey, baby girl, tell me something. Which is easier, walking down there on the floor or walking up here? And she goes, well, the floor, Dad. I said, yeah. But does down there have this view? And right behind her is this massive panoramic window that overlooks the entire city. And she turns around and she lets out a gasp and she goes, oh, it's like I can see the whole world from here. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this walk of faith. We finish up, we come down, and we get to the start again of level 3, and I go, what now, baby girl? She goes, I think I'm done, Dad. I think I've had enough. It's okay. So we start going down the stairs, and we're passing level 2, and you can look over, and there's lots of families and parents, and level 2 has this cool zip line that goes around, and everyone looks like they're having fun, and we keep going past level 1. We're getting unhooked, and as we're exiting, I see Aurelia again, and she's hanging her head. So I run up to her and I go, what's wrong? She goes, I wanted to stay longer for you. I know you like zip lines, but that was a lot for me. I'm sorry I couldn't stay and do the zip line with you, Daddy. You ever felt like that? You step out in faith, you do something, you conquer your fear, and yet you let your joy get stolen because you think your dad, your Father God, is bummed out because he didn't get to ride a stupid zip line with you. I grabbed her, and I said, baby girl, because you have to understand, she's 6 years old. Everyone else hangs out on level 2. We were the only ones up on level 3. Only ones. Everyone wants to do the zip line. At 6 years old, she not only conquered her fear, she did it on the hardest imaginable place. At 6 years old, how could I be anything but proud? See, this is what Jesus was telling Peter again. It's what he tells all of us. I reached down there and I said, baby girl, look at what you did at 6 years old. I am so proud of you. Maybe you find yourself like Peter. You feel overcome by all the stuff that's happening around you in life and in politics and in the world and in the events and everything like that, and you feel like you're drowning and you don't know what to do. Or maybe you're better positioned like the woman at the well. And all the ideals that people told you about, all these relationship things and how to worship, and none of it has measured up to what you were told. And you are so far from living this idealistic Christian life. Or maybe in this moment in time, you are more identified with the woman caught in the act. You messed up. And you can't hide this one.
All the ideals that people told
And
you
you're
about,
screaming in your
all
head,
these
it's over.
relationship things,
My life
how
is
to
done.
worship,
There's
and
no
none
way
of
out of
it
this one.
has measured up to what you were told.
It's
You
over.
are so far from living this idealistic
here's the thing.
Christian life.
Krino.
Or maybe in this moment in
That
time,
word.
you are more identified
For
with
God did not send his son into the world to condemn it. Krino.
you can't hide
It meant so much more than condemn or to judge. In fact, I think it paints one of the most beautiful portraits of the love of God ever. You see, krino also meant to settle a competition. So look at what's being told to you. Look at what Jesus is saying. He's saying, the Father didn't send me to settle a competition with the world. He didn't go to the woman at the well and say, hey, you floozy, look how many times you've been married.
beautiful portraits of the love.
He didn't go to the woman caught in the act of adultery and say, look how many times you've sinned. I guess you're really dirty now. He didn't look at Peter and say, what? I walked on water, why couldn't you? Because it's not a competition.
Send me to settle a competition with the world.
Jesus didn't say those things to hurt any of them.
Woman at the well and say, hey,
He revealed things to heal them, revealed to be healed.
he didn't go to the woman
Everything he did was to get them to look at
really dirty now.
him.
He didn't look at Peter and say, what? I walked on water.
So maybe
Because it's not a competition.
you find yourself
Jesus didn't
like the woman at the well. Maybe you find yourself like the woman caught in the act. Maybe you find yourself like Peter. But here's the thing.
to heal them.
It's not a competition. It's eyes on Jesus.
Was to get them.
And so many times as Christians, I think that we try so hard to look like Jesus that we have forgotten to look at Jesus.
You find yourself.
One of my other favorite verses, Philippians 3:8.
Maybe you find yourself like Peter.
It says, I count everything as loss for the sake of the knowledge of Jesus Christ.
So many times
That's
as Christians,
what all of this is about.
try so hard.
That's what this whole relationship is about. That's what this walk of faith is about, is eyes on
My other
Jesus.
favorite verses. Philippians